Welcome back everyone, this is J7Jace. In this video, I'm going to give you my subjective tier list and ranking of all the playable characters in Final Fantasy VIII. This does include all the other temporary party members, meaning there are 11 characters in total I will rank, and I'll be putting them into 6 different categories, from the ones I consider the best of the best at S+, to the ones I consider inferior at D. To get a sense of what I'm basing this on, I'll consider things like the power of their limits being the most important thing, followed by how often we get to actually use them throughout the story, then some other factors like their weapons, and I'll also throw in a few points for style and looks as well. So now that we know the criteria, let's start the tier list. To begin, we are going to rank Selphie. She is an interesting character and a tough one for me to rank personally, as I feel early on she is pretty strong as she can do decent damage with her limit, especially if you can hit with multiple thunders, and she's also fantastic at saving lives with full cure. Later on into the game, I feel she does fall off a bit, even though her ultimate weapon Strange Vision grants her 255% accuracy, and she has access to the End and Rapture, which can be game breaking, even though they can be unreliable in attempting to activate. However, she is often readily available throughout the game though, meaning if you want to end up using her, she will be there for you. Even though she rocks the boots well and paved the way for the word selfie before being used by all these young hipsters, I put her at a solid A on my list. My only negatives with her is her kill potential, and you're going to be at the mercy of RNG slots. Next, we have Cypher. This one pains me to rank as I wish we got to control him longer, and I personally liked him way better as an antagonist than Ultimecia, but here we go. His stats at level 100 are a bit higher than most of the other party members, as well as strength stat. You can also use Trigger with this gunblade to deal even more damage. Not to mention, he also has 255% accuracy with the Stylin Hyperion. And he can activate his limit at much higher HP than normal, at around 84%, which attacks all enemies. But because he is only in the party for maybe around 20 minutes of the game, and his limit can't multi-hit, I gotta give him the D tier sadly.
Kneel, loser!
This time I'll be ranking Kyros. He only appears in the flashback, and even though his base power of his limit, Blood Pain, is weaker than Laguna's and Ward's limit, I love how it multi-hits, and with good junctions at higher levels, he will be better. But because the time with him is so short, and it's up to you if you want to junction and be at a higher level, I'll rank him in C. I'd probably make a C+ just for him though. Now it's time for Edea. She deserves a D just for that makeup and getup. I'm just kidding. Her magic stat is pretty devastating and her limit isn't spectacular, but she does stay in the party for a bit longer, and you can take advantage of her by leveling up to 100 and to keep the rest of your party at a lower level. But because of that option and she stays longer in your party, I will give her a B. You can keep the rest of your party low while she gets to max level and gets higher levels with Guardian Forces and other items from higher level monsters. For the man with guns and women as his department, it's time to rank Irvine. He can deal so much damage and his limit is one of the best. Forget pulse ammo as it's slow and much harder to get. Use fast ammo with Meltdown or AP ammo and he absolutely shreds. With high strength stat and high luck, virtually everything in your path will die. Easy S tier for me. One of the best characters in the game. Just remember to stock up on ammo as you may run out. Coming up next on this list is someone who not only has looks, but brains as well. If she wasn't an elite mercenary, she could totally be a school uniform model or eyeglasses model. Actually, I feel she can model anything. Quistis. Now I like her because she is readily available to use throughout the game, and her limits, while not nearly as deadly like Irvine, are still pretty useful. The Generator is very good against menacing foes like T-Rex Wars and other deadly regular enemies. It is also awesome for gaining levels on islands closest to heaven and hell. Just remember to use the stat bonuses for your abilities here to make the most of each level gain. Shockwave Pulsar can also break the damage limit too. Her other support limits like Mighty Guard, White Wind, and Bad Breath are solid. I'd put her in B, but she gets A based on the style points. She just looks so good with the glasses and SEED uniform. not to mention the boots too. Ward probably has one of the funniest limits in the game and in Final Fantasy history, and that attack animation. He throws it at the enemy, then retrieves it. Always a good time. His limit is strong with a base power of 150 and it hits all targets. I still wish it multi-hit though. He can be an issue in that dream sequence though if your party level is high with Ruby, Dragon, and Breath. So he can be a liability. I gotta give him a C for these reasons. Now it's time for the leading man of Final Fantasy VIII to be ranked, Squall Leonhardt. To me, he gets S+, because he can easily increase his base attack with trigger. He has 255% accuracy, meaning he will never miss, and is great at killing cactuars for AP. He is also in your party for nearly the entire game. His limit is never bad as you start with Renzo Kukin, so that is a very strong multi-hit. To me, he has one of the coolest looking ultimate weapons in Final Fantasy history as well. Even though you have a chance for Lionheart to activate after using Renzo Kukin, its damage is very strong, especially versus single target enemies and the harder bosses like Omega, Weapon, and Ultimecia. For these reasons, Squall is among the best of the best. Now when it comes to 18-year-old Squall Leonhardt, Laguna,
You are the father!
Desperado is strong at low levels if you plan not to grind much, but I don't like how it can't multi-hit later. You shouldn't have that much trouble in the Laguna dream sequences, but I give Laguna C as I feel Kyros' blood pain is better the stronger you get, and of course he is just a temporary party member. Now it's time to rank the main heroine of Final Fantasy VIII, Rinoa, who is one of the more popular ladies of the Final Fantasy series. She is very solid throughout the game and her strength and magic stats are very solid. Her limits with Angelo can also deal good damage, and her other limits like Wishing Star and Invincible Moon, Angelo Search and Reverse are also very useful. Angel Wing, if used correctly and with the right junction setups with Meteor, can really break the game. I just don't like how you lose control of her, and at times throughout the game she can't be used. However, because she is so deadly in the hands of someone who is experienced with the game, I have to put her in S tier as she is a straight killer. Last but not least, it's Zell. For longtime veterans and experts of the game, he makes it into S+ because of his Armageddon Fist shenanigans. Even if you aren't that good with his inputs, he can still do great damage and is a fine party member who is also readily available throughout the game. Zell is S+ because his limits are arguably the best in the game, and if you're very adept at using his duel and inputting his buttons very quickly, any boss will go down in one turn. Just pray for that extra time if possible. That about wraps up my tier list of all playable characters in Final Fantasy VIII. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you all next time with more videos. Take care.